Money is more than paper or numbers. It's a store of your time, labor, and talent. When you work, you trade your life energy for money, trusting it will hold value for your future. Good money lets you plan, save, and build a stable life. When money is sound, people save and invest, businesses plan, and societies prosper. But when money is debased by inflation, it forces people to take risks just to keep up, turning the economy into a casino. Think of money as the blood of an economy. If it's healthy, the system thrives. If it's poisoned, everything suffers. Bad money distorts prices, punishes savers, and rewards debtors, transferring wealth to the politically connected. This isn't accidental, it's policy, and it erodes freedom. The fight for sound money is a fight for personal sovereignty. When governments can print money at will, they gain unchecked power, financing wars, bailing out corporations, and picking economic winners and losers. This centralizes control in the hands of a few. Honest money, especially when linked to real assets like gold, restrains this power. It protects your savings and your future from being inflated away. Sound money encourages responsibility and long-term thinking. It's the foundation of a free and prosperous society. Without it, trust collapses, and so does the system. The quality of our money shapes the quality of our lives. That's why good money matters. History shows what happens when a nation's currency collapses. In 1920s Germany, printing money to pay debts led to hyperinflation, savings vanished, prices soared, and chaos followed. The middle class was wiped out, trust in government evaporated, and desperation fueled the rise of extremism. Hitler's dictatorship rose from this economic ruin. Zimbabwe repeated the pattern. Printing money led to trillion-dollar notes and empty shelves. People bartered for basics, crime soared, and society unraveled. The lesson is clear: destroy the money, destroy the middle class and social cohesion. When faith in currency is lost, so is faith in institutions and each other. This creates a vacuum filled by authoritarians promising order in exchange for freedom. The cycle repeats: Rome, Weimar, Zimbabwe, Venezuela. Currency collapse is the tool for wealth transfer and power consolidation. It's not just history, it's a warning for today. Bad money breeds instability and opens the door to tyranny. Protecting the integrity of money is essential for a free society. When money fails, so does democracy. Understanding this pattern is vital for our future. Central banks warn about inflation, but the real threat is a deflationary crash. Deflation sounds good, but in a debt-based system, falling prices make debts harder to repay, triggering defaults and bankruptcies. 4 forces drive us toward this cliff. First, global debt is at record highs, over $300 trillion. Even small rate hikes could spark mass defaults. Second, aging populations in developed nations spend less, dragging down demand and prices. Japan's decades-long stagnation is now spreading to Europe, China, and the US. Third, technology. Automation and AI make goods cheaper, but also suppress wages and prices. Tech-driven deflation is great for consumers, but dangerous in a debt-fueled economy. Fourth, asset bubbles. Years of easy money have inflated stocks, bonds, and real estate far beyond fundamentals. Now, bubbles are wobbling. Commercial real estate is in crisis, and markets rely on a handful of tech giants. When these bubbles burst, trillions in wealth will vanish, spending will freeze, and the system will deleverage violently. The result: a sharp, deflationary collapse. Central banks are running out of tools. The next crisis won't be solved by printing more money. The warning signs are everywhere. The crash isn't a question of if, but when. Are you prepared? For 70 years, the US dollar has been the world's reserve currency, giving America unique power. But that era is ending. De-dollarization is accelerating. Freezing Russia's reserves in 2022 shattered trust. Nations realized their dollar assets could be seized for political reasons. Now, countries are seeking alternatives for trade and reserves. The expanded BRICS bloc is leading the way, settling trade in local currencies and bypassing the dollar. India buys oil from the UAE in rupees, China and Brazil swap directly. These deals are building a new, multipolar financial system. The West's consumption for dollars model is fading as producing nations demand more control. Central banks are dumping US treasuries and buying record amounts of gold. This is a clear vote of no confidence in the dollar's future. As demand for dollars falls, the US will struggle to finance its deficits. Dollars sent abroad for decades could flood back, triggering US inflation. The exorbitant privilege is ending. The world is moving toward currencies backed by real assets, not just promises. This shift will reshape global wealth and power. The dollar's dominance is no longer guaranteed. The global monetary system is undergoing its biggest change since 1971. Analysts call this new era Bretton Woods III. The old system was built on paper promises, first gold-backed, then debt-backed. Now, the world is shifting to a system anchored in real commodities, not just financial assets. Commodity producers like China and Russia are demanding real value for their goods: energy, food, metals, not just paper dollars. Trade is moving toward direct exchanges or payment in neutral assets like gold. A nation's currency strength will depend on its control of real resources, not just its financial sector. This transition shifts power from the West to the East, from finance to production. Central bankers will no longer dictate value alone. Supply chains and physical assets will matter most. It's a volatile shift, but it's grounded in reality. For individuals, owning real assets is becoming essential. The age of paper promises is ending. The new world order is built on tangible value. Central banks can print money and set interest rates, but they can't create oil, wheat, or copper. Their power is limited to financial markets, not the real world. Recent crises exposed this weakness. Supply chain shocks sent prices soaring, and central banks were powerless. Cost push inflation from real shortages can't be fixed by printing money. The only tool left is to crush demand, raise rates, trigger recession, and hope prices fall. This punishes ordinary people for problems they didn't cause. Central banks aren't all powerful. They can't control physical reality. As the world shifts to valuing real things, financial manipulation loses its grip. National strength now depends on securing resources, not just managing money. When shortages hit, prices rise, no matter what central banks do. This loss of control signals the end of their dominance. The future belongs to those who control real assets. The age of financial illusion is fading. A quiet revolution is underway in banking. Basel III. These new rules make physical gold in a bank's vault a top-tier, risk-free asset, equal to cash or government bonds. For decades, gold was sidelined, counted at half its value, discouraging banks from holding it. Now only allocated physical gold, real bars in a vault, counts as Tier 1. Paper gold, futures, and ETFs don't qualify, they're just IOUs with risk. This change pushes banks to swap paper for real metal. Silver may soon follow. Gold and silver are being remonetized at the highest levels. Banks are incentivized to accumulate physical metal, not paper claims. This shift creates steady demand for real gold and silver. The market is moving away from speculation and back to tangible value. The rules are changing. Physical assets are king. Gold and silver markets are split physical metal versus a vast paper market of contracts and ETFs. The paper market is hundreds of times larger than the real metal available. This system works only if few demand actual delivery. Banks have long used paper contracts to suppress prices and maintain confidence in fiat currencies. Basel III changes the game. Only physical gold counts as a top asset. Banks now have every reason to ditch risky paper and demand real metal. As more players seek physical delivery, the paper market strains. If demand overwhelms supply, paper prices could collapse while physical prices soar. We'll see two prices, one for paper, one for real metal. This is when true price discovery begins. Every currency revalues gold. Basel III is setting the stage. The smart money is moving to physical before the music stops. The convergence of debt, de-dollarization, Bretton Woods 3, and gold's remonetization signals a global financial reset. For individuals, paper assets, stocks, bonds, even cash, are at risk in this unstable system. The world is moving toward currencies and wealth backed by real assets. Central banks are buying gold and preparing for a world where paper promises fail. Governments may respond with central bank digital currencies, programmable, trackable, and controllable money. CBDCs threaten privacy and financial freedom, unlike gold and silver, which offer true sovereignty. We're at a crossroads. The choices we make now will shape our financial future and liberty. Understanding how money is created, debased, and reset is critical. The big players are already moving into physical assets. The question is, will you? Will you stay in a failing system, or secure your wealth in timeless, tangible assets? Your financial survival and your freedom depend on your answer. The time to act is now.